woman who was in charge of supervising prisoners in the basement of the New Haven courthouse. She had a corrupt relationship with one of those bail bondsmen, apparently going back for years. And in this particular instance, the bail bondsman called her in the lockup and asked her to obtain confidential information from one of the prisoners so that the bail bondsman can reach out to the prisoner's family and get them out on bail. And all we know for sure is there was a $150,000 bail set by a judge in a case, and that at the end of the day, the bail bondsman involved said that his profit on that the amount he made, his profit was $2,000. And he paid the marshal 10% of that, or $200. That's one of the several bribes that she admitted to having received. Now, what does that tell you about the bail system? It appears as though, we don't know the whole story, and if this bill were to pass, we'd be able to find out the whole story. But it appears as though that prisoner or his family paid $2,000 to get out on a $150,000 bond. Now, the law in Connecticut seems to be clear on its face. In general, the fee that a bail bondsman charges is 10%. However, over a certain amount, it can come down to about 7% or thereabouts. But in any event, nothing near the apparent $2,000 fee that this particular prisoner paid to get out of jail. This is the problem. This is what was reported to us. That the undercutting that's been going on by the unscrupulous bail bondsmen, some of whom are on their way to federal prison having pleaded guilty to corruption in federal court, that very thing has inflated the bail amounts in the state. And if you have an off-the-record conversation with any judge or any prosecutor, and I've done this, they'll tell you that they are aware that many prisoners are getting out having paid virtually pennies on the dollar on these bail amounts that are being set in court. That was not the case 15 years ago. That was not the case. And the victims of this, at the end of the day, not just the integrity of the criminal justice system, but it's the family members of people who have been arrested who end up having to pay these fees to these unscrupulous bail bondsmen. And part of the corruption, and if you read this affidavit that was prepared for the indictment of the police officers in New Haven, if you read the details of this affidavit, you can see what's going on. There's a conspiracy between the police and the bail bondsmen and the courthouse staff to ensure that people are kept in jail, even though they might otherwise receive a promise to appear, so that these unscrupulous bail bondsmen can profit from this. It's clear that this is what's going on. They're also trying to force out of business the traditional bail bondsmen in this state, some of whom have accompanied me here to this press conference, who have been complaining to us for years that there's corruption in the industry, that they have to put a stop to it. So 2008, I think, is the year to do what the legislature should have done 4 years ago. That would have put an end to this corruption then. We've learned